Okay, welcome back, everyone. As you can see, I cleaned up, and I promise I didn't just move it out of view, like I actually put it away. Uh, I'm going to try and finish up this book today. And I may do that in separate parts like I normally do. And then I think I want to get Puppy Place, because I really, really want to do the Magic Tree House by tonight. And tomorrow I do have to work, and I will be there early to set up. And because I will be there so early, I'll be waiting for at least one of my colleagues. I will start or finish, however you want to look at this, the Geronimo series, so that this way that goes up. And now you guys get to see me in all these different locations because I posted 2 books earlier. But I want to finish the Bailey School book, the rest of the Bluey collection, and potentially the Puppy Palace. Palace. Why do I keep saying Palace? It says Puppy Place. I promise. So that I can start in on the Magic Tree House, because those are really good books. They're very nice and they're very imaginative. So we're going to jump right back into this. And we left off on chapter 4, I believe. I have my little sticky tabs. You can always tell when a book has been read right before I donate it, because all the little sticky tabs will be sticking out. Chapter 4, Normal. Please put your pencils away, Mrs. Jeepers told her students. Immediately, the click, 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 click of pencils being set down could be heard. The 3rd graders had been working hard all morning and were ready for a break. Whenever Mrs. Jeepers gave a direction, the kids were sure to follow it, even Eddie. Most kids were a little afraid of their 3rd grade teacher. Some even thought she was a vampire. Mrs. Jeepers glanced at the notes in her hands before speaking. The new Bailey School nurse has sent a message, Mrs. Jeepers said in her Transylvanian accent. She would like to do a routine checkup on our class at this time. As the rest of the 3rd graders hurried to line up, Liza, Melanie, Howie, and Eddie gather at the end of the line. I have a strange feeling about this nurse, Howie whispered to his friends. Liza smiled. You should have some of her wonderful bandages. Then you won't feel bad about anything. I've never felt better in my life. Eddie poked Liza in the arm. Feel the same to me. Icky. Howie stepped between Eddie and Liza. This is no time to be silly. I think we have a serious problem, and her name is Nurse Readings. What are you talking about? Melanie asked. You don't even know Nurse Readings. Howie looked around to make sure no one was listening. Then he spoke very softly. I know she appeared during a dust storm, and Bailey City never has dust storms in the middle of the winter. That doesn't mean anything, Liza blurted out. But Nurse Readings has super-duper bandages and thermometers, things that no one else has ever heard of, Howie told them. She's just on the cutting edge of medicine, Melanie said. Then why didn't Nurse Readings know how to open a door, Howie asked. If she's a normal nurse, then she should be smart enough to know how to open a door. Not unless... Unless what? Eddie asked. Unless Nurse Readings isn't a normal nurse, Howie said slowly as the rest of the class filed out the door. Sometimes Howie knows. And if you remember from the other books, Howie's father actually works for NASA. So, that's interesting. Chapter 5, Gravity. The 4 kids hurried to the office and crowded into Nurse Readings' room. Mrs. Jeepers had already left the class with the new nurse. These records are ancient, the new nurse was saying. Her voice was loud and flat. We must flibble them. I don't know what flibble means. Carrie, a girl with bouncy curls, raised her hand. What does flibble mean? Nurse Readings pulled out her green mask and peered at Carrie. Flibble? It is just my way of saying to fix something. I'd like to flibble that nurse, Eddie whispered. Of course Eddie would. Shush, Liza warned. First, Nurse Readings made Melanie stand at the far end of the room and read from a chart. The chart had strange shapes on it. I can't read that, Melanie said. Oh, zots, Nurse Readings said. You will need eyeglasses. I'll show you the picture in a minute. I can see it, Melanie interrupted. I just can't read it. The chart doesn't make sense, Liza said kindly. We're used to reading letters. Nurse Readings looked confused. But those are letters. They aren't any letters we've seen before, Howie blurted. He rummaged through a nearby closet, pulling out an old yellow poster. Here's the chart the other nurse used. It has letters on it we can read. Nurse Reading stared at the poster for a full minute before smiling. Of course, how silly of me, she said. Melanie and the rest of the class had no... Okay, so before I turn the page, it's got like all these different symbols. Now, before I turn the page, because I am looking at this, one of my classmates and I used to do this when we sent notes back and forth. Oh my god, why am I announcing this to the world? This is bad. That's how old we are. We would send notes in class. But this way, if a teacher intercepted it, they would have no information. Not unless I contacted somebody who had the key. And I think it was me, her, and someone else. And I think my friend Morgan was the one who made the key. But I just recently came across them, so I had to laugh when I saw that picture of, like, the eye with a check mark above it, because it sounds like something we would have done to represent the letter, one of them, between A to Z. So that was why it was funny. Okay. Melanie and the rest of the class had no trouble reading from the old poster. After checking their eyesight, Nurse Readings measured every third grader. She whistled her funny whistle as she worked. How many feet am I? Eddie asked. Nurse Readings blinked twice before answering. 2? I am not, Eddie sputtered. Of course you are, Nurse Readings argued. All of you have 2 feet, unless some of you are hiding a few. That's kind of funny. That's a cute joke. Most of the kids giggled, but not Howie. He was totally serious when he tapped Nurse Readings on the shoulder. Eddie wants to know how tall he is. Why didn't you just say so? Nurse Readings glanced at her chart. Eddie is exactly 6 scrunch pits, and 12 nymto fractions. Now, let's get everybody's weight. What's a scrunchlow pit? Melanie asked softly while Nurse Readings helped carry up on the scale. Eddie shrugged. I have no idea. Maybe we should pay more attention during math class. Fair. Eddie shrugged. Nope, we're moving past that. Nobody heard Eddie because just then Nurse Readings grasped. This cannot be right, she said. Someone else tried. This time, Howie got on the scale. Nurse Readings put her nose right up to the scale. How can this be? She asked. This machine must be broken. I don't think so, Liza said. It always worked before. Nurse Readings helped Howie down. I know how to check it, she said. I shall weigh myself. After all, I know how much I weigh. Nurse Readings climbed aboard the scale and checked the readout. Then she let out a blood-curdling scream. What's wrong? Howie asked. I've never weighed this much in my life, Nurse Readings moaned. I get this now. Because the word gravity. I don't know why it took me so long. Sometimes even adults have to pay attention, but I got the 2-foot joke real quick. Okay, going back. Melanie patted her shoulder. It's all right. My mom says gravity does strange things to women as they get older. Nurse Reading stopped moaning and looked at Melanie. Then Nurse Reading smiled. Of course, that's it. Gravity. Lisa rushed up with a cup of water. This might make you feel better, she said. Nurse Readings looked at the liquid in the cup before asking, What is it? Liza giggled. It's just water. I thought you might be thirsty. Water? Nurse Readings asked. Of course, thank you. Nurse Readings sniffed the water and then slowly drank it. I remember what I wanted to tell you all, Nurse Readings said. Water is essential to human development. Humans should drink at least 8 glasses of water each day, even if it is so wet, Nurse Readings giggled. How else would water be? Eddie asked. Nurse Readings didn't answer back because Mrs. Jeepers came back into the room. Class, Mrs. Jeepers said, we must leave now. It is time for science. All right, Howie said. I love studying about the solar system. Mrs. Jeepers smiled, an odd little half smile at Nurse Readings. Thank you for checking the class. It is very nice to have you at Bailey Elementary. Nurse Readings nodded to Mrs. Jeepers. This school is wonderful. As a matter of fact, it's out of this world. Oh, I guess you could say that. So are most of the teachers in it. Chapter 6, Marshmallow. After school, Howie grabbed Eddie's arm. They were under the big oak tree on the playground with Melanie and Liza. I have to tell you something, Howie said seriously. It might scare you. Eddie laughed. Nothing you say can scare me. You may change your mind, Howie said. Just tell us, Melanie told Howie. Okay, Howie said slowly. You know all the strange measurements and funny words Nurse Reading was using? Liza nodded. It's almost like she was from another country. Or another planet. Howie whispered. What? Liza, Eddie, and Melanie said together. Howie took a deep breath and looked at his friends. I think Nurse Readings is from Mars. Eddie and Liza burst out laughing, but Melanie twisted her ponytail. She did look as if she had never seen water before, Melanie said slowly. That's because there is no water on Mars, Howie said. Don't you remember that from science? Melanie jumped up and down. I remember that Mars is called the Red Planet. So what, Eddie said. Melanie rolled her eyes. Don't you get it? Nurse Readings? She broke it down. It does say readings, though. Sorry. I bet she is from Mars. You guys are crazy, Liza said. Names don't mean anything. I guess you think that marshmallows are from outer space, but the red dust would definitely explain things. Just saying. Maybe you guys are from outer space, too, just because they start with Mars. Your brains are full of marshmallows. Eddie snickered. All right, Howie said. If you're so smart, just follow me. Then we'll see who has marshmallow for brains. The kids were so busy rushing after Howie that none of them heard the strange whistling noise that floated across the Bailey School playground. Is the whistling noise like her form of transportation? Sorry, I have to scooch over a little because my back hurts. Chapter 7, Martian Madness. Howie didn't slow down until he reached the corner of Green Street and Smith Lane. Then Howie stopped so quickly, Eddie ran right into him. Why did you stop? Eddie snapped. Howie pointed to the small sign by the sidewalk. Because I plan on catching a bus. And this is the nearest stop, Howie told them. A bus? Melanie asked. To where? The planetarium? Howie answered. Eddie laughed so hard he had to gasp for breath. I always knew you were nuts. Now we're going to a place where they help crazy people? Liza tapped Eddie on the arms. You shouldn't call people crazy. It's not nice. Howie shook his head. Besides, I'm talking about the planetarium, not a sanitarium. World is a little. A planetarium is where they study the sky in outer space. Eddie laughed even harder. That's even better because you have plenty of space between your ears. Laugh all you want, Howie snapped, but you'll be sorry when you find out I'm right. Eddie leaned against the bus stop sign. I've already learned enough today, he argued. I shouldn't have to learn anything else unless I'm at school. If you want to find out the truth about Nurse Readings, we better do what Howie says, Melanie interrupted. Don't tell me you believe this Martian madness, Liza asked her friends. Melanie shrugged. I'm a little scared. What Howie says does make sense. Liza shook a finger in front of Melanie's face, I'm assuming is what it says. Oh, in front of Melanie's nose. How could you believe Nurse Readings is a Martian? She's a fantastic nurse, but that's all. I don't know what to believe, Melanie said slowly. Going to the planetarium will help us decide what to do. Well, if we're going, we'd better run home and get permission first, Liza suggested. Howie nodded. Okay, we'll meet back here in half an hour to catch the next bus. An hour later, the four kids were standing in front of the giant planetarium. I hope you know what you're doing, Eddie said. Howie looked at his best friend. Not yet, but we'll find out what to do here at the Bailey City Planetarium. Howie led his friends up the long sidewalk and into the planetarium. Inside the building was dark and quiet. Liza felt like she should whisper, What are we looking for? Howie pointed to a sign. That show would be a good place to start, he told her. A movie is getting ready to begin. The four friends filed into the huge auditorium and sat in big comfortable chairs that leaned way back so that you could stare at the ceiling. As soon as they sat down, the lights dimmed and loud music boomed from the speaker. The ceiling became the red planet of Mars. Soon, Howie, Melanie, Eddie, and Liza felt like they were plummeting through space. Liza whimpered, and Howie gripped the arm of his chair. Hang on, Eddie said. It looks like we're going into orbit. Well, at least he paid something as far as attention in science class. He knew what orbit was. Chapter 8, Invasion. Wow, Eddie whispered. That was the best movie I ever saw. The show had just finished, but the four friends still gripped the arm of the chair. It felt like we were really hurtling through space, Liza argued. It's hard to believe we've been sitting here instead of zooming around Mars. We're lucky we don't live on Mars, Melanie said. It's so cold and dry, Howie added. The only water is underground and frozen. Melanie nodded. That's why it's the red planet. It's so dry the wind swirls up huge dust clouds, so the entire planet looks red. But we'd never have to worry about getting fat on Mars, Eddie laughed. No gravity makes everything weigh less. Howie's eyes were as big as flying saucers. Don't you get it? Nurse Readings forgot about gravity making her weight more on Earth. That's why she got so upset when she climbed onto those scales. If eating too many sugar cookies makes our new school nurse a Martian, Eddie argued, then Principal Davis must be the king of Mars. But Principal Davis didn't just appear in a cloud of swirling dust, Melanie told Eddie, and he isn't surprised at how wet water is. There. It all makes sense, Howie said in a whisper. Nurse Reynolds really is a Martian. Liza shook her head. I'm pretty sure Martians don't work at the school as nurses, and they definitely don't use bandages. Or take temperatures. Besides, that movie said there's no life on Mars. That's right, Melanie squealed. Because now the Martians are right here in Bailey City. But what do they want from us? Do you think they want our brains? Eddie laughed. Then they definitely came to the wrong place. Maybe they're just vacationing, Melanie suggested. Nobody vacations in Bailey City, Eddie argued. He's not wrong. Nobody vacations where I live either. Bailey City is a perfectly nice place to visit, Liza told Eddie. It's sure a lot nicer than the Dust Bowl of the planet. Howie grabbed Liza's arms. That's it, Liza. Howie gasped. You figured out why the Martians have invaded Bailey City. Liza pulled away from Howie. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything about Martians. I just said Bailey City is a great place to live. Howie nodded. And that's exactly why the Martians have invaded. They're taking over Bailey City. That's pretty funny. I have to laugh, so that's the end of this chapter. But when we were going through, they were talking about plummeting through space. And all I could think of was The Big Bang Theory. If you've never seen that, it is pretty funny. But also, the other thing that came across my mind is some miles away, we have a college, and they actually have a planetarium. And when I went to school, I had taken astronomy just as a filler. And we went up there, and it is so incredibly dark where this is, because it is higher up in altitude, obviously, so you're above the city lights, which are polluting, night light pollution, and you could see everything just standing outside of the observatory. It was amazing. So if you ever get the chance, go check out a planetarium. They're really cool. And if you live in like a college town, or live near a college town, or an area where there are multiple colleges, check and see if one of them is there. I know we also have a natural history museum at one of the other colleges. That's a ways away. But my son and his friend love that place. And they're free. They may ask for a donation. And if it's part of a state park or something of that long, like along that lines, one, if you have a disability and you have a handicap placard, you can get into these places for free. Two, if you do not have the ability to pay for a state park pass or a state museum or something like that, you can go to your local library, or certain libraries even, and they may even be able to obtain one from a bigger library around you, and you get a free pass. Most people don't realize this. I say you should absolutely go and have a good time. And then this way you get to experience these fun things where sometimes you may not. I get it. Money gets tight sometimes. But so that is a great way to enjoy something new and not have to pay a lot of money. So it's very much the same with these ones for the colleges and for different events. Go and see if a state pass from the library would aid in that. And get to go see something really, really cool. All right. In the meantime, we have left off on Chapter 9, Help, and that's where we'll pick up after. And then I will finish this book, and I'll start up the other two. So everybody have a great night. Bye.